The Navy SEAL froze mid-step on Christmas Eve, his eyes locked on the ragged patch stitched to the homeless woman's coat. That insignia hadn't been seen in public for 23 years. It belonged to an operation that never officially existed. And according to every military record, everyone who wore it was dead. Hey, real quick, comment your city below. I'm always amazed by how many places these stories reach. And if you're into true stories with real emotion, make sure you're subscribed. The snow fell heavy over downtown Seattle that Christmas Eve, each flake catching the glow of street lamps and holiday decorations. Commander James Mitchell pulled his collar tight against the cold, his breath forming clouds in the freezing air. He'd been a Navy SEAL for 15 years, but tonight he was just another man trying to get home for the holidays. The shelter on Fifth Avenue bustled with activity. Volunteers served hot meals while families lined up, their faces worn by circumstance but softened by hope. James had stopped to drop off donations, a tradition his late mother had started decades ago. He was about to leave when he saw her. She sat alone in the corner, away from the crowd. Her gray hair hung in matted strands around a face that might have been beautiful once, before life carved deep lines into her features. Her clothes were layers of mismatched fabric, dirty and torn. But it wasn't her appearance that made James stop breathing. It was the patch on her coat, faded and frayed, barely visible against the dark fabric, but unmistakable. A black eagle clutching a trident, surrounded by 13 stars. Operation Blackwater. The mission that broke international law. The operation that was erased from every database, every record, every whispered conversation in the halls of the Pentagon. James knew because his father had died in that operation. Or so he'd been told. His feet moved before his mind caught up. He crossed the room, weaving through volunteers and families until he stood before her. The woman didn't look up. Her hands, scarred and trembling, gripped a cup of coffee like it was the only warmth left in the world. "Excuse me," James said, his voice barely steady. "That patch on your coat. Where did you get it?" The woman's head lifted slowly. Her eyes were a startling blue, clear and sharp despite everything else about her that spoke of defeat. Those eyes studied him with an intensity that made him feel suddenly exposed, as if she could see straight through to his bones. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you," she said. Her voice was rough, damaged, but there was something else beneath it. Education, training, authority that had been buried but not destroyed. "Try me?" She smiled. But it was the saddest thing James had ever seen. "I earned it, Commander. In another life, when I was someone else entirely." James felt his heart hammering. That's impossible. Operation Blackwater was 23 years ago. Everyone involved is dead or disappeared. "It doesn't exist." "Exactly," the woman said, and took a long sip of her coffee. "It doesn't exist. And neither do I." James sat down across from her, ignoring the volunteer who tried to move him along. He flashed his military ID, and the young man backed away quickly. "What's your name?" James asked. The woman hesitated, as if the question required excavating something long buried. "Most people call me Sarah, but that's not who I was." She paused, her fingers tracing the rim of her cup. "I was Captain Elena Vasquez, Naval Intelligence, demolitions expert. And yes, before you ask, I was part of Operation Blackwater." The name hit James like a physical blow. Elena Vasquez. He'd heard that name once, whispered by his mother late at night when she thought he was asleep. His mother crying, saying that name over and over. His father had mentioned her in one of his last letters home, before the mission that supposedly killed him. "My father," James said, his throat tight. "Lieutenant Commander Robert Mitchell. He wrote about you. He said you were the best soldier he'd ever served with." Elena's eyes widened, and for the first time, her composure cracked. Her hand shook so badly, she had to set down the coffee cup. "Bobby? Bobby Mitchell's son? You knew him. Knew him." Elena's laugh was bitter, broken. "He saved my life, twice. once during the operation, and once after. She looked away, blinking rapidly. I'm so sorry about what happened to him. He was a good man. The best of us. What happened on that operation? James leaned forward. My father's death, the official story, it never made sense. A training accident? He was too careful for that. Elena was quiet for a long moment. Around them, the shelter hummed with Christmas carols and conversation, but their corner felt isolated, wrapped in shadows and secrets. What do you know about Operation Blackwater? She finally asked. Only rumors. Something about a weapons facility in Eastern Europe. A threat that needed to be neutralized off the books. A team went in. No one came out. That's the story they tell, Elena said. Here's what really happened. She leaned back, her eyes distant, seeing something James couldn't. There was a facility in the mountains of Romania, but it wasn't foreign weapons we were after. It was ours. American weapons, experimental technology that had been stolen by a private military contractor and sold to the highest bidder. The government couldn't acknowledge the theft without admitting the weapons existed in the first place. So they sent you in to clean it up. They sent us to die. Elena's voice turned hard. The mission was a setup from the start. We were supposed to destroy the facility and everything in it, including ourselves. No witnesses. No evidence. No political fallout. James felt cold that had nothing to do with the weather. That's insane. Why would they do that? Because some of us knew too much. Your father, he discovered something about the contractor. Evidence of corruption that went all the way to the Joint Chiefs. They couldn't risk him talking. And you? Elena smiled that sad smile again. I was sleeping with the wrong senator's son. Got pregnant. He wanted me gone. Military intelligence wanted me quiet. Operation Blackwater killed 2 birds with 1 bomb. James sat back, his mind reeling. Everything he'd been told, everything he believed about his father's death was a lie. But you survived, he said. How? Your father, Elena said simply. He figured it out the night before the mission. Found the secondary explosives planted in our gear, timed to detonate after we entered the facility. He came to my quarters at 0200, woke me up, told me we were walking into a coffin. She paused, her hands clenching. We had a choice. Go through with it and die, or run and spend the rest of our lives looking over our shoulders. Your father, he had you and your mother to think about. He wanted to live. We made a plan. What plan? We'd fake our deaths. Create enough chaos during the mission that no one could verify remains. I had contacts in Romania, people who could help us disappear. Your father was supposed to meet me at the extraction point after we blew the facility. Elena's voice cracked. But he never came. I waited for 3 days. Finally got word through my contacts. He'd been shot during the mission. Not by enemy combatants. By our own team leader, who'd been ordered to make sure no one survived. James felt tears burning his eyes. My father died trying to escape? Your father died saving 7 people who weren't supposed to make it out of that facility alive. Civilians who'd been imprisoned there, used as test subjects for the weapons. Bobby found them, and he couldn't leave them behind. He staged a diversion to get them out, and that's when he was shot. The shelter spun around James. His father, the hero he'd idolized, had been murdered. Not by enemies, but by his own government. Why didn't you come forward? He asked. Why hide all these years? Elena laughed, but there was no humor in it. Come forward to who? The same people who ordered the hit? I tried once, 3 years after the mission. Sent an encrypted message to a journalist I trusted. She was dead within a week. Car accident, they said. After that, I knew. I could never be Elena Vasquez again. So you became this? James gestured at her ragged appearance. Homeless? Forgotten? Sometimes the best hiding place is plain sight. No one looks at the homeless. We're invisible. And after 23 years of running, of fake identities and close calls, I was tired. So I stopped running. Became nobody. It was easier than I thought. James stared at the woman across from him, trying to reconcile the decorated naval officer with the broken figure before him. But as he looked closer, he saw it. The way she held herself, even slouched. The alertness in her eyes, constantly scanning. The muscle memory of someone trained for combat. "I have to ask," Jane said slowly, "why are you still wearing that patch? If you're trying to hide, that's the one thing that could identify you." Elena looked down at the patch, her fingers brushing it gently. "Because I made a promise to your father. The night before the mission, we both sewed these patches inside our gear where they wouldn't be found. He said if either of us survived, we had to keep it. As proof. As a reminder that Operation Blackwater happened, that we existed, that we mattered." She met James's eyes. "I've kept it hidden for 23 years. But 6 months ago, I got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. The doctors give me maybe another year. I figured it doesn't matter anymore who sees it. Let them come for me. I'm already dying." James's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then froze. A text from his commanding officer, urgent. Return to base immediately. He looked up at Elena, and she was watching him with those sharp blue eyes. "They know you're here," she said calmly. "They know you found me. How is that possible?" "I didn't tell anyone." Elena gestured subtly at the corner of the ceiling. "This shelter gets federal funding, which means federal security, facial recognition cameras. The moment you sat down with me and flashed your military ID, we both got flagged." James felt panic rising. "We need to get you out of here. Why?" Elena's voice was serene. "I told you. I'm dying anyway. What can they do to me now? Disappear you. Make sure the truth never comes out. Just like they tried 23 years ago." Elena studied him for a long moment. "And you? They'll come for you too now. You're compromised." James hadn't thought about that. But she was right. He'd made contact with a ghost, someone who wasn't supposed to exist. In the world of covert operations that made him a liability, his phone buzzed again. Another message, this one from a number he didn't recognize. "Commander Mitchell, step away from the woman. This is not a request." He showed Elena the message. She nodded, unsurprised. "Your father," she said quietly. "He told me something that night. He said if anything happened to him, I should find you when you were old enough. Give you something?" She reached into her coat, and James tensed, his training kicking in. But she pulled out only a small envelope, yellowed with age and sealed with wax. He wrote this the morning of the mission. Made me promise to keep it safe. I've carried it for 23 years, waiting for this moment. James took the envelope with shaking hands. His father's handwriting on the front, for James, when he's ready. "Open it later," Elena said. "When you're somewhere safe. Come with me. I can protect you." Elena shook her head. "You can't protect me from this. But you can do something else. You can tell the truth. Your father died trying to save innocent people from his own government. That story deserves to be told. They'll deny everything. It'll be your word against the militaries, not just my word." Elena pulled out her phone, surprisingly modern beneath her homeless disguise. "I've been documenting everything. Names, dates, classified documents I managed to copy before I disappeared. Your father's evidence about the corruption, all of it. It's all backed up in 3 different locations, with instructions to release it if anything happens to me." She handed him a flash drive. "But I'm giving you a copy now. Because I don't think I have much time left, cancer or not. And because you're Bobby's son. He trusted you with his life." "So do I." James pocketed the drive as 2 men in dark suits entered the shelter. They weren't looking around. They were walking straight toward their corner. "Go," Elena said firmly. "Back exit, through the kitchen. You've got maybe 30 seconds. I can't leave you. You have to. Someone needs to survive to tell this story. Your father died for it. Don't waste that. James stood, his mind racing. The men were 20 feet away now, pushing through the crowd. Elena looked up at him one last time. Your father loved you very much. Everything he did for you and your mother. Remember that. He was a hero, even if the world never knows it. James ran. He burst through the kitchen, past shocked volunteers, and out into the alley. The cold air hit him like a slap. Behind him, he heard shouting. He ran harder, his SEAL training taking over, navigating the dark streets with practice ease. In his pocket, his father's letter burned like a coal. He made it 6 blocks before he had to stop, lungs burning. He ducked into a doorway and finally opened the envelope. Inside was a single sheet of paper. His father's handwriting, familiar from childhood letters and birthday cards. James, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry. I wanted to see you grow up, watch you become the man I know you'll be. But some things are worth dying for, and truth is one of them. By now, Elena has told you about Operation Blackwater. She's told you about the corruption, the cover-up, the murder of innocent people in the name of national security. It's all true, but there's something she doesn't know. Something I discovered the night before the mission. The senator's son she was involved with, the one who wanted her eliminated. His name is Michael Preston. And son, I need you to pay attention to this next part. Michael Preston didn't just want Elena dead because of their affair. He wanted her dead because she discovered he was the one selling the weapons to foreign powers. He was the contractor we were supposed to be stopping. The entire operation was designed not just to eliminate witnesses, but to destroy the evidence of his treason. Elena never knew. I never got the chance to tell her. Michael Preston is running for president in the next election. If he wins, if he gets access to that level of power, I can't imagine what damage he'll do. I've hidden evidence. Bank records, communication logs, everything needed to prove his guilt. The coordinates are 47.6062N, 122.3321W, underground storage, locker 237. The key is with your mother. Though she doesn't know what it opens. Tell the truth. James, make sure my death means something. I love you, son. I'm proud of the man you'll become. Dad. James read the letter 3 times, his mind spinning. Michael Preston? He knew that name. Everyone in America knew that name. Senator Preston had been leading in every presidential poll for the last 6 months. The election was in 3 weeks. His phone buzzed. A new message from the unknown number. Commander Mitchell. We can make this easy or hard. Your choice. Meeting location has been sent. Come alone. You have 1 hour. James looked at the attached address. An abandoned warehouse by the waterfront. Classic. But what choice did he have? They'd hunt him down regardless. At least if he went, he could buy time. Maybe negotiate. He checked the flash drive Elena had given him, plugging it into his phone. Files upon files of classified documents, photographs, testimony. Everything needed to expose Operation BLACKWATER. And then he saw something that made his blood run cold. A photograph from the mission. The team assembled before insertion. And there, standing in the back row, younger but unmistakable, the face of his current commanding officer, Colonel David Grant, the man who'd sent him to the shelter tonight, the man who'd been texting him. Colonel Grant had been part of Operation Blackwater, which meant he was part of the cover-up, which meant tonight wasn't a coincidence. James had been set up. They'd known Elena was at that shelter. They'd sent him there deliberately. But why? The answer hit him like a freight train. They couldn't kill Elena after 23 years without raising questions. Too suspicious. Too risky with all her documented evidence. But if a decorated Navy SEAL, son of a fallen hero, happened to find his father's murderer and took justice into his own hands, and if that SEAL was then tragically killed while resisting arrest, that was a story that would bury all the evidence forever. 2 bodies Case closed, no loose ends. James started running again, but not toward the warehouse. He had a different destination in mind. The coordinates from his father's letter. He needed that evidence. It was the only leverage he had left. The storage facility was in an industrial district, the kind of place that asked no questions. James broke in easily, his SEAL training making quick work of the basic security. Locker 237 was in the basement, tucked in a forgotten corner. He used the key his mother had kept on her keychain for decades, thinking it belonged to a safety deposit box that didn't exist. The locker opened with a click. Inside was a waterproof case. James pulled it out, hand shaking. Inside the case were hard drives, file folders, photographs. 23 years of hidden evidence, but there was something else. A phone, old model, but charged. As soon as James touched it, it powered on. A video began playing automatically. His father's face filled the screen. "James," his father said, and James had to bite back a sob at hearing that voice again after so many years. "If you're watching this, you found the evidence. Good. You were always a smart kid. I need to tell you something about your mother. Something I never told anyone." James's breath caught. "Your mother wasn't just a military wife. She was an SA, deep cover analyst. She's the one who first discovered the corruption, who traced the weapon sales back to Michael Preston. I was just her asset, collecting physical evidence while she built the digital case. The night I left for the mission, she made me promise not to tell you. She was going deeper undercover, positioning herself to bring down the whole network. If I didn't come back, she continued the mission alone. Son, your mother has been hunting these people for 23 years. Every job she's had, every move we've made, it's all been part of her investigation. She's gotten close, so close, but she's never had quite enough proof to make it stick. Until now. Take this evidence to her. She'll know what to do with it. And James, trust her. I know it's going to be hard to learn your whole life was a cover story. But your mother loves you more than anything. She sacrificed everything to bring your father's killers to justice. Tell her, I'm sorry. I couldn't be there to see it through. Tell her I love her. And tell her to finish it. The password to the encrypted files is your birthday backwards. Use it well. Be safe, son. Be brave. Make me proud. The video ended. James stood in the dusty locker room, his entire world rewritten in the space of 5 minutes. His mother, his quiet librarian mother who'd raised him alone, who'd never remarried, who'd moved him every few years for better opportunities. She'd been hunting a conspiracy this whole time. He pulled out his phone and called her. She answered on the first ring. James. Her voice was tight. Where are you? I found Dad's locker. I know everything. Mom, I know what you've been doing. Silence. Then quietly, how much do you know? Enough. Operation Blackwater. Michael Preston? Elena Vasquez. All of it? Elena's alive? His mother's voice cracked. After all these years? She's at a shelter downtown. But Mom, they're coming for her. They're coming for me too. I don't know what to do. Listen to me carefully, his mother said. And suddenly her voice was different. Harder, professional, the voice of someone used to giving orders in life or death situations. Do you have the evidence? Yes. All of it? The hard drives, the files, everything? Everything. Good. Now here's what you're going to do. For the next 10 minutes, his mother outlined a plan so detailed, so sophisticated, that James felt like he was talking to a complete stranger. She gave him addresses, contacts, protocols. She told him exactly how to move the evidence, how to verify its contents, how to release it in a way that couldn't be stopped or suppressed. What about you? James asked. Where are you? I'm exactly where I need to be. 3 hours ago, I walked into Senator Preston's campaign headquarters. I'm his new senior advisor as of this morning. He has no idea who I am. By tomorrow morning, I'll have access to his private servers, his communications, everything we need to complete the case. Mom, that's insane. If they figure out who you are, they won't. I've been someone else for 23 years, baby. I'm very good at this. But I need you to do your part. Get that evidence to the journalist I'm sending you. Her name is Rebecca Chun. She spent her career investigating government corruption. She'll know what to do with it. What about Elena? His mother was quiet. Elena Vasquez was the bravest person I ever worked with. If she's dying, if she's finally ready for this to end, then we need to honor that. Get her testimony if you can. But James, don't sacrifice yourself trying to save her. She's been ready to die for this truth for a long time. Don't let that be in vain. I can't just leave her. Then record her story. Get it documented. Make sure her voice is heard. But you can't stop what's coming. They'll take her back into custody tonight. Best case, she disappears into a black site for whatever time she is left. Worst case, she has an accident. James felt sick. There has to be another way. There isn't. I'm sorry. But this is war, James. It always has been. And in war, some soldiers don't make it home. Your father understood that. Elena understands that. Now you need to understand it too. What happens after? When the story breaks? Chaos, his mother said simply. Michael Preston's campaign implodes. Investigations begin. Heads roll. But the truth comes out. Finally. That's what your father died for. That's what I've been working toward for 23 years. And you're going to be the one to make it happen. She paused. I'm proud of you, James. Your father would be too. Now go. You don't have much time. The line went dead. James sat in a coffee shop in Portland, watching the news on his laptop. His face was different now, courtesy of a makeup artist his mother had arranged. New hair, colored contacts, beer, just another face in the crowd, on the screen. The news anchor's voice was grave. In a stunning development, Senator Michael Preston has withdrawn from the presidential race following revelations of treason, weapons trafficking, and conspiracy to commit murder. The evidence released simultaneously by 50 news organizations worldwide. Details a decades-long cover-up involving Operation Blackwater, a classified military mission that took place 23 years ago. The screen show photographs. His father, Elena, the entire Blackwater team. Documents with Michael Preston's signature. Bank records. Everything. Former Naval Intelligence Captain Elena Vasquez, presumed dead for over 2 decades, provided crucial testimony before her death last week. Captain Vasquez, who had been living homeless in Seattle, died of cancer 3 days after finally coming forward with her story. Her testimony has been corroborated by newly discovered evidence provided by an anonymous source. James blinked back tears. Elena had made it just long enough to tell her truth. Just long enough to matter. The news continued. In related news, Commander James Mitchell, son of fallen hero Lieutenant Commander Robert Mitchell, has been reported missing. Military sources say Commander Mitchell was last seen at a Seattle homeless shelter on Christmas Eve. His current whereabouts are unknown. James smiled grimly. Let them think he was missing. It was safer that way. His phone buzzed. A text from his mother's new number. It's done. Preston's in custody. 14 others arrested. More to come. Stay hidden. This isn't over yet. I love you. James typed back, I love you too, Mom. Dad will be proud. He closed his laptop and stood, pulling his jacket tight. Outside, snow was beginning to fall again. Just like that Christmas Eve 3 weeks ago when his entire life had changed. He thought about Elena, dying in a hospital room but finally free, her truth finally told. He thought about his father, dead for 23 years but vindicated at last. He thought about his mother, still deep undercover, still fighting, and he thought about the patch in his pocket, the one Elena had given him before they took her away. The Operation Blackwater insignia. Proof that they had existed, that they had mattered, that they had fought for truth even when truth seemed impossible. James walked out into the snow, just another anonymous figure in a city that didn't know his name. He had his father's evidence. He had Eleanor's testimony. And he had time to make sure every person responsible for Operation Blackwater faced justice. Time to honor the fallen. Time to finish what his father had started. The war wasn't over. It was just beginning, and this time, the truth was winning. That's the end of today's story, but I hope it stays with you for a while. If something in it spoke to you, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and share your thoughts. It's your comments that keep me inspired to make the next one.